module. Regarding that, how the SAP architecture and other things, once we have the real classes start, we can discuss on that architecture.
Okay.
Now, let me give for this, because we have only 1 hour schedule here. I will go over what actually, what is HCM, and then what are the different areas actually, available in HCM, and then what we teach in the class based on the goals, what actually you got from Neela. So we're going to cover that. Okay?
Okay, all right, no problem.
Yeah. So HCM is actually, so it stands for Human Capital Management, and it means actually, in any industry, in the old terms, actually what we call is actually HR. You may be familiar with HR actually is an organization in any company. So, but for, the people actually, who work for companies are considered, as a kind of, investments, in the older days, salaries and all those things actually people used to think is just corporate businesses only think is actually expense side. But nowadays, actually, they actually consider that as investment for the future resources. They can actually, they can actually evaluate more than depending every time bringing the people from the outside. So that's why they, it's kind of a branding. They renamed actually, HR, into Human Capital Management, and most companies nowadays consider what is the average age of the employees in their company, and they will try to balance it out so that productivity will be more. Okay. So now come back to come back to SAP. How actually the different areas actually integrated with SAP HR module, and then how are they planning to, roll out certain functionalities with the new technologies within SAP HR, within SAP module. Okay, so now the current actually is actually what we call core HR. Everything actually will be set up in SAP HR system, and people means the business users will be using various processes, like, for example, HR people may be using how to hire employees, and then benefits people may use how the benefits people use benefits people use actually how to enroll employees into their benefits, and the time administrators will think, how can I make sure all employees actually have the time recorded in the system, and then payroll process and administrators, they actually initiate. Okay, they get the clearance from the business units to go ahead and run payroll for this particular group. So once they get that communication, then they initiate the payroll processing steps. And once the payroll processing steps are done, there will be, some designated people. They initiate, payment process to employees, depending on the check. If it is check printing, and then if it is their deposit, ACH files will be generated and sent to the banks. So, and after that, and somebody will take the ownership of transferring all these payroll calculations or calculated results to post to the general ledger and then vendor accounts, so that vendors like benefit vendors or tax vendors, they get actually the payments on time. So that is a, if you look at the broad picture, that is a common actually, in any software. HR means in any software, any company, any country, anywhere. That is the core actually, HR functionality. Okay, and what is the other side of HR functionality? Usually, you maybe have to aware is actually like talent management, and self-services. You start with the self-services. Now you assume that you have a core. I'm talking in general. Okay, not specific to SAP. So so self-services means So let us say companies, most of the companies would have policies like so we want to actually roll out such services to to employees. When you say the employees, there may be so many different types of employees, maybe working in an organization, like staff employees, okay, and non-staff. Non-staff means they may be union or contractors or like that, or expat employees like that means. So depending on the availability of certain resources of the company, like computers and all those things. So they actually say most of the staff actually work with the systems. So they may go with we want to roll out self-service applications to my staff in my organization. So means they are actually grouping employees which employees are supposed to be getting or using a self-service application so that they can maintain their own data. They can do what they can actually based on the services rolled out, they can actually go and check various things that reduce the burden on HR or benefits or time or payroll people. Okay, so means leveraging certain services using self-services. So when I say that, so it is not feasible to leverage all the services to all employees in an organization sometimes because of the cost effectiveness. Sometimes so licensing fees may be more. That is the reason they see. And then if employees actually has no computer access, for example, it doesn't make any sense to an organization to provide self-service applications to them. So that's why they weigh all the possibilities and then they make the decision. So when I say self-service means what can they do? So if I'm an employee, then I am allowed to do certain services. And if I am a manager, then in addition to my self-services, I can also do as a manager. I can look my employees who are reporting to me, and then I can look my employees pay info. I can look my employees leave information, how much leave they actually available for them, and I can actually approve my employees' time. And if there is any other workflow implemented, then I can perform those tasks, from my managed self-service application. Similarly, if an employee, I can go and maintain my address. I can go and maintain my bank changes. I can go and change my certain benefit plans depending on my life event changes. If it is open enrollment, I can go and open, during open enrollment, I can re-enroll into certain plans at the beginning of the year. So, and then I can view my pay stub. I can record my time. I can record my expenses, travel expenses. So all those actually, so I can view from the self-service application. Okay. So that is other side of the core applications means the hiring to pay to employee that is a core application. You have to have that is a key functionality in any business. That is a requirement. So all these are other things actually self-services. Even if the company doesn't have self-service, still at least somebody in the back end, if I have the address change and I communicate to my HR rep, and then they go into the system and they maintain. Okay, so means you are bringing some kind of automation to the core process what we have available or delivered to organizations. So you can actually leverage certain new add-on services. It means, so I said self-services, but when we go to the terminology, to SAP, what we call, we'll talk about later. Okay, and similarly, talent management is the other section. When you talk about the talent management, that's when actually, why actually companies nowadays are very key on talent management. Basically, the talent management comes from, so the recruiting onwards. So means, so one is actually the recruiting process. In the recruiting process, actually, companies actually, have their own portals nowadays, career site, and then So they invite different various people of various candidates, and they have the positions open. They publish, and then when they publish, so they also actually communicate to the outside job board, because most of the people may not come to the company's portal directly. So they publish into the job boards like Monster, computer jobs like that, depending on the type of job what they are publishing. Okay.
Okay.
If it's union related job, it will be the different websites, because they are known for the union contract union jobs, and similarly some contract consulting, they will go to different job sites like that. Okay. So they actually identify what are the jobs actually job sites are good for what type of job requirements. Based on that, they publish to the different portals. So once that applications either internally means company's website, externally means all these different job boards, they collectively received by recruiters in the company. The recruiters, what the recruiters will do, the recruiters actually screen, they do the initial screen based on the requirement, job requirement, what they have received from the business. So based on that, they actually do the screening, and they see that okay, the employees profile matches to the high level matches to the requirement, and whether employees actually has enough experience, the skills whatever is job required is actually do they have. Like they do some initial kind of screening, and then they talk to the candidate and then see, and then they'll actually send the resumes to the business managers who requested that particular job. So then the managers will go through that in detail on employees' resumes, and then the screening will start from there, technical screening and then personal screening, and offering employees to job. So that's when the in the talent management another section begins, which is nothing but onboarding. So meaning, so employees are actually ready to be onboarded. Means employee got the offer letter, and then some certain type of pre-employment documents will be published in the onboarding, and then employees will be given the temporary password, username and password, so that they can log into that onboarding site, and then they can fill all actually the prerequisite paperwork. Okay, like W4, I-9 verification related, so and then employees actually information related to employee personal data like that. So they will fill whatever that, and then they may post some kind of documents regarding that based on their job. They create some kind of what you call so business related documents as well as HR related documents they post, and then they make sure the employee read all of those documents before join the company. So all that actually is called onboarding. Once the employees are onboarding, actually again the paperwork and everything is done, and then they complete actually background checks on the employee based on information they have provided. Once that is done, means onboarding is successful. So then they actually start hiring back in SAP for that employee with the minimum information, and then once the employees come, then they fill the rest of the information. Okay, so that's how the onboarding. That is also a part of the talent management process. So you call it within the talent management there are subsections like so and then the performance management. So within the talent management, other actually is a sub area called performance management. In the performance management, what they do, okay, it is actually it is for existing employees in the organization. So for each and every employee, actually they can actually create a development plans for the employees whom their companies think this particular employee may be potential for the future needs. So then actually they can actually keep that employee into the development plan, and then they assess the current skill, and then after 10 years what they want to, see that employee as in the company, like manager or director, depending on that. So they have the they create the development plan, and then HR, okay, and will work with that employee, and then make sure and they evaluate that employee, and then the employee is getting the enough skills and enough training to meet that future goal. So they set up the that kind of development plan. And once actually, for example, if any employee is leaving the company, means in the senior position like manager or director, instead of going outside to reinvent all this process, they can actually pick up that from the development plan pool who are there, and then they will try to bring one of the employee as a successor for that particular open position, instead of going out and manage. So that is actually another piece of the performance management. So, and then nowadays actually industry space actually big challenge is the retaining employee force. So the retaining employee workforce is nothing but again how much benefit actually the current actually businesses are giving, current organization is giving versus what is the industry standards in outside. So if you are below the industry standards, then actually it is very hard to retain employees. Means what company pay the benefits and how much for that particular job or skill set, and all matter. If you underpay employees, actually maybe may come to your organization as a stopgap, and then once actually they get the way, means stopgap, and then they keep looking for the better opportunities. So it means and companies may be spending 3 or 4 months time on that employee to educate what they are doing and then know how they do. And once actually employee understands fully the company's business, and if employee leaves again, means that company maybe may have to fill a new position, new employee, and then all internal training has to take place for the new employee. Means so they're spending a lot of time, but they're not getting any fruits out of that. Okay?
Yeah.
So that's why the retaining employees in the company is very, very, very important. So that's why they have the goals. Every year they set the goals, and then based on the goals, and they rate employees. They ask employees to rate themselves. For each of the project they worked on. Okay, and then manager will assess the employee skills, and then employees rating, and then manager will evaluate, come up with his own rating, and 0 to 5 scale, and then they integrate that rating with compensation, annual compensation. Okay, so meaning each year, at the end of each year, they consider the previous year, as a base, and then so what are the employees' achievements, and so they assess, and then they integrate the rating points given by employee, given by manager, and given by customers if they are working with outside people. So all that they evaluate, and then so they use that point when employees when they give the employees the annual raise, salary raise, or when they give annual bonuses. If it is employee getting 3% means companies may say that okay, any employee getting up to 3% is actually 5,000 is an annual bonus. So they can actually come up with some kind of a other benefits to using the goals and other information what actually employees achieving during the year. That's what the key points from the performance management. So all these actually high-level talent management. All these called actually talent management, but they're actually really when you look at that, so there are the different pieces in it. Okay, so and that is other side. So what actually we are covering in the goal is actually if you look at that wheel here, employee life cycle. In this wheel, we are covering actually the transaction. The transaction area is very, very big area. Okay, transaction and then part of development area. Okay,
Yeah.
not the part of development area. In the transaction I have here, that in the recruiting area. Part of the recruiting area means the hiring process will start, from there. We're not really, going to the whole recruiting process here, but we will start with actually, how the, companies will set up, organizational plans, for their employees. And it says organizational plan means employees actually is part of it. But the core is actually like, how their enterprise is actually, defined, as a functional administration view. It means, okay, CEO is head of the organization, and then there may be different presidents or vice presidents of the different business units, and their vice president for finance, for example. So they have the different structures for, corporate and then business level. So like that, they build the organizational structure. So those organizational structures will define a position. Okay, so I need actually finance organizational structure if you take. So it means I have a vice president is actually head of that organization for finance, and then there may be 4 or 5 different directors actually reporting to him, one for GL and one for AP like that. Okay, one for corporate taxes like that. There are different directors, so they may be reporting to head of finance. So for the directors, there may be working individually the different managers. Okay, so like that they break the organizational plan to the more granular level, so that they can actually assign people and means creating different jobs or positions at that individual organizational level. So that when you look at the structure from the CEO to finance director, so that is one type of structure they can see from the top to bottom. Means if the CEO has some kind of a goal that himself for finance area, then those goals will roll out to the down. It means vice president gets that, and the vice president actually distributes that goals to their direct reports, directors, and then directors actually will set the goals for their reporting managers. The reporting managers actually set the goals for their reporting people, so that they can be collectively delivered to the CEO at the end of the year. That's what the goal, setting the goals, and then making sure what are the different projects actually they are working on, that they are working on individually at the bottom level, and then making sure that all are worked and then delivered on time. So that's how the goal, setting the goals, and then implementing the project, and then once the project is completed, then the ratings actually. That's when actually at the end of the year, so managers and employees will actually make sure rate themselves. So whether you use it in the systematically or outside, this is how actually really work in any organization. Okay. So that's how actually the organizational plan is defined. That is the reason most of the companies actually based on the previous year lessons and learns, and then they almost actually they will go and optimize the company's architecture periodically, making sure it meets the current demand from the company. Okay. So they cannot actually, keep the same organizational plan which is developed 20 years back, and now it doesn't make any sense. That's why the companies will always say reorg is happening. Means what is reorg happening? They are realigning certain, structures so that it will meet the business, current business and the future. They visualize the future growth, and then they reorganize now. Okay, so and then in the transaction, actually, this is a key area, and the key area we'll be discussing is actually okay, and is actually starts with hiring employees. So once actually you have the org structure is established, means I have the positions and available, so that I have to fill my employees to the positions. So that's what hiring. So what you have to have the back of your mind is, when I say the hiring means onboarding is completed, means employee recruiting process is done, onboarding is completed, means employee is ready, employee has accepted company's job. Okay, so then whatever the other things actually I did, I mentioned in the talent management, like employee verification, and then I-9 and W4, all that information employee already has submitted and employee read all the company, company required documents employee has to know about the company or about the policies and all those things. So, and uh, that is a pre-employment requirements all are done on that employee. That's why HR is ready to hire that employee, and then you have to think about if you think about your new employee, then visualize how the system works on there in HR. Okay, like once you are hired into the employee, means the next step is depending on if you are a contractor, you don't get certain benefits. If you are a full-time employee, you do get some benefits. So means what benefits you are allowed to get. So based on that, so companies will ask you to enroll into the company benefits program. So you will actually go on your own and to self-service portal, and then so you enroll yourself. If they don't use the self-service portal, they ask you to fill the paper document. They will provide somebody, some benefit administrator will sit with you and then explain what are the different medical plans, dental plans, vision plans, and insurance plans, and 401k. Okay, like that, and all the plans they actually explain and ask you to fill those forms. Okay, if it is ESS self-service, then so they will communicate via email. Okay, you are all set in ESS, and then you can log into the company portal so that you can enroll into the benefit program. Okay, so either one of the way they follow. Okay, so once actually you are enrolled into the benefits, then the next step is collecting the time. Means you have to record your time. So when it says record your time means, so there is another module implemented in HR. It's called time management. Okay, when you talk about the time management has a different sub applications like work schedule. First of all, each employee has to be assigned to the different schedule. Means whether employee work 8 hours in a day and 5 days in a week, one schedule. If employees work in shifts, there may be a shift A, shift B, shift C, like that. So like that, rotating shifts depending on the manufacturing activities. Means that's when usually you see the shifts will come into the picture. Okay, so but the work schedules have to be established. That is another sub module within the time management area. And then so at the time of hiring each employee, what they do, so they assign each employee to depending on the location where they work, depending on which business area they're working for, they assign employees to the relevant schedule. Okay, 4/10 means 10 hours each day, 4 days they work, depending on that area, that particular business, how they operate and work. Based on that, so the work schedules will be defined, and then each employee will be assigned to a specific schedule. So that is actually is a primary schedule which employee is assigned to. Okay, that is what that's part of the hiring. So, but who will be doing it? So then whoever is responsible for the time management application implementation, so then those persons will do the setup. How to, what is the requirement, they get the requirements, and then they configure the system, to meet those requirements. Okay, and the next step is actually now work schedules are done. What is the next step? Next step is actually you have to provide the employee to record the time. So when you record the time, assume employees may be recording the time from employee self-service or the back-end entered by the time administrator. If employees have no access to the portal, so back-end time administrator. So then, so either one of the way, so you have to have, you have to set up the time recording application. As a time recording means, what are the core requirements there? Is actually attendances and absences. When you say the attendances, like regular hours, how many hours employee working each day, okay, and overtime hours. If any employee qualify for overtime, they enter the overtime hours for the employee, and then like a double time. If any employee works for more than a certain number of hours in a day or in a week, or working on Sunday or Saturday, if the employees are qualified for double time, then the double time will be recorded in the system. Okay, and then if employees are eligible for taking vacation, sick, or jury duty, or military leave, like that, okay, or excused absences or unexcused absences, all those things actually are possible. So they can actually create attendances or absences they can record based on that. Okay, and the next application in the time is the technical side, like so calculation. What are the different time rules have to be applied for the different business groups and different types of employees, staff versus exempt versus non-exempt, contractors, union employees, like that. The type of different employees, and for those employees, what are different rules you have to define. That's what the next step in the time management is actually all the rules. Okay. So remember, most of the time rules are actually international. There is no country specific here. Okay. When it comes to the payroll, country specific things will come, but not in the time. The time is a labor collection. Labor hour collection is a common requirement, but rules may be changing depending on the countries. But the core application is actually, functionality and everything looks similar. Okay, and then. Okay, and once actually all these things are done, like employees hired in the company, and then employees active in the company, and the employee enrolled into the benefits. Employees are entering the time on weekly basis or bi-weekly basis, different depending on pay cycles which they follow. Then it is time to turn it over to payroll system. So means if it is a weekly payroll, means weekly means every Monday payrolls will begin. With bi-weekly means every alternate Monday, payrolls will begin. By then, all managers make sure that all their employees enter the time in the system, and the time got approved in time, so that payroll will process without any hindrances. Okay. So any questions up to here?
Yeah, this seems to be have a lot of sections. So do we have any sub-modules again in HR specific to industry, like for if we apply job, do we have any specific modules again that we have to master in HCR?
Yes. Each one is actually, we're talking about like this, but each one actually, we give actually, courses like this. You get actually the materials from ITBMS. Okay, we'll give actually, see here, like for example, HR 410. I don't have all the folders here, but HR 410. This is one course for the payroll. Okay, similarly, each course is named like that.
Okay. So which one has a?
Okay. So we will go one by one. We'll go one by one, and then we'll go, in order, like, as I said, org master management means that's where you set up the org master plan. And that is a basic thing which we start. And then hiring means personal administration module. Okay, we discuss all the, what is the personal administration, what is available, and then how we set up, like, for example, I don't want to deviate the flow, but just see in the personal administration, what we discuss, hiring employees. When I said hiring employees means, you only hire employees, you don't do any other actions on the employees. We do. Like, you transfer employees, you terminate employees, okay, you set employees into the leave of absence. All these are the different type of events you have to perform after employees hired in the company, depending on what comes. Right? So termination and all those things. Once the termination is done, means if after 2 years employee goes back to the same company, means rehiring. Okay? And then maintaining the data, like, addresses and some information on daily basis, or, some depending on employees required. Okay, certain information may be changing. So means maintaining the data. So all those comes under actually what are the different things we do, and as a SAP specialist, what we do, and then that will be trained with a PM module.
Okay.
So OM org management in the PM modules will put you and make you comfortable. Okay, it has internally, it has a different sections. Okay, so all those are different sections, but still we call it as a module you can call, or unit you can call, whatever you call. But so while doing that, you will be trained in all those areas, so that you will be comfortable how to initiate a, how can when you can say that employee is completely in a HR system.
Okay. Yeah. So when we apply jobs after the training, basically I do have multiple years of experience. I worked as a business analyst in the HR domain, like employee self-service, manager self-service. That's why I was a little inclined to this course. But when we apply a job, will it go by module, or they look for like a one in who fits all the modules? So in terms of the job market.
No, it is actually by module, but initially,
okay.
the thing is actually depending on, individual's luck, depending on that. Okay. Some people will get the breakthrough in one module. Okay. Some people look for actually, the global experience in all modules.
Okay.
Okay. So depending on, what level they're considering that position, when you go there. If it's a big project, they give you and they give you an opportunity to work in one specific area. If the small implementations, they see people who have multi-scale in multiple areas.
Okay.
Depending on that, depending on that, that's why when I got my first job, okay, so I was hired as a lead. Believe me. How much pressure you go through? How much pressure you go through? Job, because all in those days, actually 15 years back, so not much actually, so there are not many people actually who train in SAP.
Yeah.
Only to take the SAP classes. They are very expensive, and mine was completely self-led. Okay. So I'm just telling, it means how hard it is to handle the blueprinting and all the modules, scoping and everything. But it is a challenge, So
Sure.
I was only one person, and then in each area FI and other things like that, and then so I while working, as I said, while working itself, so I was looking for some other job. Okay. So I completed the design of this project, and then, and look for, it's far from home also. That's why I looked for, and then I got the eBay project that time.
Okay.
So again, eBay is close to my home, but again, the same challenge. That is also lead. So, but still, I took up that, and then, because it's close to home, so, implemented that is not up to the payroll, it is up to benefits that time. So, so I weighed all the things, and then I moved from that project to this project. So like that, but if you're fortunate, I've seen so many people. So just they come and learn on the project also. So I've seen that also.
So I have a good, decent knowledge, like a background, but I don't have any SAP direct experience. So after I finish the course, do you think I will get a break really fast, or it depends upon little luck?
No, actually, the thing is actually, so in SAP, not only SAP, in any IT industry, is continuous learning. So
yeah,
we are putting you, into, just we are giving some kind of a good understanding and knowledge in few areas. From there, how you interact with people, and then how you explore various information available in websites, and then you have to build up from there. We can guide you. We can guide you, but we can build up there. So to tell you, you have a very good background than me. I'm an electrical engineer when I started HR.
Okay.
So just understand, okay. So, but so to present myself as an HR person, I used to actually speak with different back in India and here. So to speak with HR people, and then talk to payroll people, and like so what they do and then how they do. So that I can get some kind of an understanding. It's all depending on you're fortunate you have that all of that understanding.
Yeah.
Okay? The only thing is that process. How can you implement? If you use if SAP is your software, how can you bring that hiring process in SAP? That's how you have to compare, and then you have to learn that too.
Yeah, before your class, I did search in DICE for SAP HR and HCM. I see few positions like a functional slash technical. So, okay, what the goal of the course? You go where I fit as a functional, right? Not the technical.
Our, yes. The functional is actually means, who actually, understand the requirements and then implement what is possible to implement in standard SAP. And then
Okay.
if there is any gap between the standard and the requirement, then you have to come up with a design solution. That's why we are going there.
So so this course is
Yes,
for functional, right?
this course is for functional. I'm just telling the example.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and
Okay.
in the course, when you are customizing the solution in the course, it's not always possible completely. You can deliver the solution in 100% in functional area. Then you may have to write some kind of a custom program. Then you need the technical program.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So means with experience we gain some kind of a technical. You don't code, but so we should be able to debug the issue. Means you need to have understanding on the technical side.
I see. Okay.
That actually, that actually, as I said, depending on your interest and then your,
Yeah.
people and the interest issue, depending on that, so you can actually pick up some areas faster and some areas on your own means may take a little bit delay. But, good to have things. Not a mandatory, but good to have things.
Good to have. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, no problem.
Okay. So and then payroll. The
Hello,
payroll
Mr. Jagannathan.
Yeah.
This is Deep here. I have a quick question actually. Sorry to interrupt you.
No problem.
Yeah. You talked about mostly like the overall all the modules of the HR, OM, like payroll, time management, and like mostly the major module. I have actually a small question. Like in like when you're going to take the whole session, so are you also going to cover the ESSMSS part?
That ESSMS means in 4 weeks it will be too much, but I'll give the good orientation on that ESS and MSS.
Okay, no, because I do understand that
actually I will use the latest presentations on ESS and MSS. I will help you because the thing is, understand, in my experience I worked in almost all areas, but as I mentioned, so you will be branded. Once you get some kind of senior level, you don't work on day-to-day basis, right? So in my thing actually. So when I work as a consultant, I used to work in all areas depending on I don't know which area I get the projects, right? So but when I took the job, so I was actually working more on the transactional side. Okay, so transactional side means so again transactional side means PA and benefits used to be one lead. And I used to take care of, time, payroll, okay, and, travel expenses, e-com, like that, different areas.
Great, because the work actually, whatever the work comes, the job profile comes, it's either comes on the payroll or time management or personal benefits, those areas. Like everything doesn't come together for the jobs. Yes.
Yeah, but that's why you have to have an opportunity to work on various things. So, but I'm fortunate to work with a variety of areas, and then settled in bigger picture actually, not just a small area. So, and then portal there will be different group will be handled like that. But still, as a functional people, will be testing all the portal changes and everything, and then make sure that is working correctly, as we expect as a functional person with a good understanding and how that particular piece should work. So we do all those testing and we figure out, and if there are any issues, we communicate to the technical team, and they go and fix the issues. Okay, but I have good presentations on ESS and MSS, and then I can share with you, and then once the course is ended, or I can take the special couple of hours session on that, and then we can discuss on ESS and MSS.
That will be great. Thank you so much. And another question I have.
Usually I do that. What are the peripherals actually? Which even you're projecting yourself as a payroll person, in the market, but still, so when it's a payroll person means that people will think that you have the all underlying areas, you have a good understanding, good knowledge, good experience. Like if you don't know hiring means, how can you project yourself as a payroll person? Correct?
Yes, agreed.
So that's what. And if we don't know how to enroll into the benefits, then how can you say that these are the benefit calculations happens in the system, this is how this? So how can you explain? That's why the payroll. When you say the payroll means, so you are accepting the bigger role, and then you have to work hard. All other modules, they are the good command.
So after the training, actually we will have access for 6 months, right? So we can. Do you think like we can play around in the system based on your training and get?
Yeah. We give access actually. This is how I operate actually. So usually we have weekend sessions, and then usually I keep 1 hour Q&A session on Wednesdays, midweek review, so that I can actually see what you are doing, and then I can answer your questions, and if you have any difficulty, I can help you out like that.
Okay.
And then once the batch is ended, I will keep actually at least 2 to 3 QA sessions, so that any questions after the course is ended, I can actually help you out. Okay, and if anybody actually, if you all come with, okay, so I need actually now I want to know more on the taxes, then sometimes I set up actually Sunday session, maybe 4 hours, 5 hours like that, so that I can actually cover that kind of depending on how students are interested. Okay. So we'll pick up the topic, and then I'll go in and out of the topic. So that the taxes is the challenging area, you don't get it at the first place. Okay, I'm just giving the example. So that I will try to help out as much as possible. So before that actually leverage I can extend until I start the second batch, next batch. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but soon, once we finish the training and quickly do some practicals on the system access, and later on during the interviews, do we get something like FAQs, like what exactly the employer might be looking, some kind of guidance, or?
No, actually, how we operate at ITBMS is, so I will actually screen your resumes.
Okay.
When I screen your resume,
then it is fine.
I don't actually, I may not be helping you what client you have to put and other things, but I will screen your resume.
Yeah. I understood that.
And each module wise, depending on how are you planning to put, each module wise, I don't like to put actually, FAQs like, but usually your resume. That's how I interview people. Your resume is the talking point.
Okay.
So based on the resume, okay, I will actually go and ask and screen your understanding and knowledge. And
like a mock interviews. Okay, that makes sense.
I will correct it if you are saying something wrong. I'll stop. No, this is how you have to tell like that. I will do that kind of guidance.
Okay, yeah, that sounds, that's all I
actually anytime, so whenever you guys are ready. So that happens anytime. So
Yeah.
It's not just on Sunday or Saturday or Monday, like that, not like that.
Yeah.
So whenever you need me that, and you can give me a call, and if I'm available, if I'm not available at that time, I'll tell so and so time, then I'll take the call and then start like that.
Yeah, well, I have one last question about in terms of like materials management. There are like a BW HANA and HR. Do you think HR has the demand like other modules? Because as you know, everything boils down to, because I have a wide variety of functional area experience. So just when switching career, I need some suggestion or advice from you, like on the how the job market, because finally we need to end up in some jobs.
Yeah, HANA or any kind of BI or whatever you call, they're actually HANA is actually building on the cloud concept.
Yeah.
It means that improves the performance, and then so that that will be more beneficial in future. Okay, that is a technology point of view. But
Yeah. Okay.
the back what you are doing is not changing. Okay, if you are a functional person like this, back end what you are supposed to do, that is not going to change.
Yeah. The functional part is the same. Whatever.
Yeah. BI is again the reporting tool. So certain level of reports only you can get it in the back end. But if you have the multi-dimensional reports, you have to get, and then you have to take different things, performance is issue. That's why the BI. So they actually, you can get all the core data, whatever is there in core SAP. They actually copy on nightly basis or daily twice like that. Copy to that BI server so that they have all the data, and then build all the queries there, queries and dashboards on the BI system. Okay. So again, the BI, what are the modules, so you're planning. Means you have to have the core understanding on one functional area first.
Yeah.
So then only you'll be more successful. When you look into the other areas.
Okay. So you think like HR has a good demand?
No, HR actually has a good demand. For the reason it has, even for the full-time employment, it need more people in SAP.
Oh,
when you compare with FY or SD and other areas. Because each year, so because it is actually a little bit complexity in some areas, or understanding certain areas from the business units. That's why, and then each year you have to apply for example, in case of years, you have to apply year-end support, year-end patches, so that you can actually, with all the legal changes, what are the tax forms are changing.
So it's ever changing. Yeah.
It demands actually, more supporting people.
Okay. Yeah. That is all I need. Yeah.
That aspect, so you have, you get more jobs, openings in HR area than in other modules.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sir, another question. Probably very you find out very lame question. The thing is, I understand, like, people are calling it HR module, and sometimes it's called like some other thing is also taking as a HCM. So what exactly the difference? Human capital management or human resource?
So that's the branding basically.
Is there a module is inside there is a functionality also difference, or it's the same?
No, nothing. Basically, in all software makers actually, will be using the industrial standard term now is HCM.
Okay.
So human capital management, meaning, as I said in the beginning, the employees have, in the older days actually, so an employees whatever they think is actually spending. Okay. So meaning, so spending is a different term for the business side. So, but now that's why now the term is actually investing. I'm investing on you means, okay, so it means I expect something from you from returns. The returns are actually your knowledge, and then your hard work to get the certain things, and then your presence in the various projects like that. Okay, so those are actually successfully implemented, means company will be getting the benefits out of it. That's why the brand, they change the brand, from the HR to, okay, so HCM means human capital management.
Okay. Thank you. It's clear.
Yeah. And Deepa, I see you joined lately. Do you have any questions?
I think we addressed all our kind of my questions.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, if you if you have the Neela, they will be in touch with you guys, and then see when the batch begins and other things. They'll communicate to me, and we'll see. And where are you located?
I'm located in Atlanta.
Atlanta. Okay. And anyone in New Jersey or outside? All are outside.
No. I'm from Texas.
Where?
Dallas, Texas.
Dallas. Okay.
Also, I heard that these travel and expenses, they moved it to into the FICO module. I don't know. Somebody told me there is no for travel and expense. They actually moved the module to FICO, added to it. I don't know.
No, the FICO is actually finance.
Yeah,
okay?
finance. Okay.
Yeah, so depending on, some people actually, not necessarily they use everything in SAP. So they may, SAP is actually known for, very, very strong finance module. Okay. So that is actually, the advantage of actually, people actually nowadays, they don't like to implement, various modules for various things, and then integrating the data is a big, issue. Okay, so that's why, which are the finance software they take, and they, usually they go by, all other modules will be implemented from the software like Oracle or, whatever it is. Okay, so that's one way that's a good strategy. But an SAP has actually, almost more than 30,000 customers across the globe. So this is a big number. Okay. So depending on that, actually, the job market is good, and yourself it has so many customers. So and all, federal government is actually running on SAP. And not only here, Canada, Mexico, everywhere the governments are running on SAP. So
okay.
And they have different industry solutions also. Defense has a different industry solution. I don't know, railroad has a different industry solution like that. Okay. So that's all I have to cover. If you ask me, I can talk, the whole day. But so you may have planned, only for 1 hour or something like that.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay. So yeah, just be in touch with ITBMS, and they will communicate to you, and we'll start from there. Okay.
Yeah. Thanks, Krishna, for your time. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Thanks for your time.
Okay.
And have a good weekend. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
you.